Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my podcast. No cap, just raw. I never get tired of saying it. Guys, I have not been on for like 2 weeks now, I want to say. And, anyways, who's counting? But today I was watching a YouTuber that was talking about how she went from 0 to 3,000 subscribers in a month. And it was so interesting to just hear her story and her journey and her authenticity. Shout out to Glow and Peace. Guys, I don't typically talk about who I follow or what I watch, but I watched this girl. I've been watching her videos, and she is truly amazing because she is so honest. Her integrity is so attractive that watching her videos is just feels right. And so she was talking about how her consistency got her to the level that she was truly seeking to get to. And congratulations to you, girl. If you ever hear this or not, I just want to put it out there. And I love watching anything that just breathes honesty and integrity and authenticity because that's what I'm about. That's what this podcast is about. It's about truth. And I never want to come on here and talk about something that's not true to me. And so today, what we're talking about, as you can see from the title of the episode, multi-talented backslash multi-gifted. And this is just one of those things that I want to say I struggled with growing up, being so good and naturally good at things that it's like I had a knack for it, for anything and everything that I put my hands on. And so that was either deemed as talented or gifted. And if you look in the dictionary, uh, and I want us to clearly define this, and so what does it mean to be talented? Having a natural aptitude or skill for something. So it comes to you naturally, so it's a talent. So what does it mean to be gifted? And I love the term gifted because gifts come from God. So there's more power when I hear the word gifted. And gifted means having exceptional talent or natural ability. So they kind of fall within the same category, but not really. Because gifted means like you're so freaking good at doing this thing, and talented means it comes to you naturally. The skill comes to you naturally. So growing up, I grew up around people that just were like that, gifted, multi-gifted, multi-talented, and just were good at anything and everything that they put their hands on, like literally. I want to start off by saying like the first person that truly inspired me to just be of that mindset that hey, I can do anything that I have the passion to do, or I see it and I'm like I can do that, I can do it. My mother inspired me to think that way and to see things in that manner. And that's also what you call confidence. When you're confident, you believe in yourself and you know that you can do anything and everything. And I'm going to break that down for you because I know that also realistically, um, as you go on in life, you eventually find what you want to do and stick to that thing. And that's the very thing that kind of leads you to success, quote unquote success. That's how it should work, right? I have a different take on it and I'm going to come right back to that. But I just wanted to put that there. I want you to hang on to that thought. So as you get older, you're supposed to eventually narrow down that one thing that you want to do for the rest of your life, or that you see yourself doing for the rest of your life, that comes to you naturally, doesn't feel like work, but it's fun, it's excitement, and you want to do it, and then you're successful in it. That's a blessing. We're going to come back to that. But my mother inspired me to think in the manner of knowing and believing that I can do anything. And so growing up, the things that I was drawn to was singing. I love to dance. Oh my gosh, I started dancing when I was 3. I remember I did my first performance, and it's on video. I haven't seen it in a while. Uh, I'm a 90s baby, so my dad had the big camera with the VHS tape, and I was on stage doing my thing. I killed it, and just dancing was one of those things that came to me naturally. So I would definitely say that was a talent. I loved it. I had my own dance group, dance ministry in the church that I led when I was 12, and that was really really fun. It was a blessing to have that leadership bestowed upon me at such a young age, and because I was so passionate about what I was doing, it was just so easy. I choreographed as well. That was a talent. Again, it came to me naturally. Growing up, my mother did put me in ballet and contemporary. I also took gymnastics just for a little while. I wish I lasted longer. I learned a lot there. But I didn't spend enough time in those classes that I took to in order to be as talented or gifted as I was in dancing and in ballet. And I did all styles of dancing, and I was really really good at it and still am very much. I don't dance as much as I used to. As I was saying before, as you get older, things change and shift, and we're going to come back to that in a moment. Next thing that I love to do, I love to sing, and you guys see me on social media, on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I have my Princess Olympia music pages, and I love to sing. And it's not just, I can't say that's just a talent. That is definitely a gift from God. It's something that I definitely am pursuing. And another thing that I love to do was I love to draw. I love to paint. I love making jewelry, and I literally had like a little jewelry line, and I was selling jewelry to my classmates, and I mean like on a serious note, I was banking. And my pieces were so unique. They were pretty with beads. I made earrings, and people loved the things that I made. And then eventually, my drawing, my love for art turned into fashion. So I've always been very trendy. Even as a child, my mom always told me that I would pick my outfits, and sometimes she would pick them, and I'll be like, "No, I don't want to wear that. I want to wear this." So I've always known what I wanted to do, what I wanted to wear fashion wise. Fashion has always been something that I had a knack for, and I could definitely say that's a gift. I also do a lot of illustration, fashion croquis. I've designed my own clothes. I sew. I make patterns. I do draping. I've made fashion pieces from scratch. My undergrads was actually a bachelor's of fine arts and fashion design. So that's a fun fact about me. So I'm just gonna name that these are the very few things that I do. I cook, So I'm very, very much gifted in fine arts, performing arts, and visual arts and things of that nature. It's just in my bloodstream. My father's also a very gifted fashion designer. He used to make wedding dresses for his clients, and he was exceptional. So it's a gift. That's also another thing too. A lot of the things that you kind of draw or gravitate towards naturally can also come from inspiration of what you've seen growing up. And like I said, my mother instilled in me the confidence and the belief system of believing in myself and knowing that everything I touch will turn into gold and that there's nothing that I cannot do. And also, my father has taught me to just be bold, know what I want, and to be confident in myself as well. Both of my parents instilled that in me. And so, both of them also, my mother was also very, very good in fashion. She also assisted my father making a lot of his wedding dresses for his clients. She cooked, my father baked. So, my parents did a lot of things, and I eventually ended up doing a lot of things that my parents did, and it actually became something that I was naturally good at, talented, gifted. Until this day, there's a lot of things that I still do that I started doing when I was a child. And so, why am I telling you all these things that I'm gifted at and talented? I'm multi talented and I'm multi gifted. That's a fact. Now, here's the con. I mean, there shouldn't be a con, but there can be, right? It is important to manage the gifts and the talents that God gives you. Everything God gives you is not without reason and purpose. It is on purpose. And so I used to grow up thinking, wow, like no matter what I did it exceptionally well. And I've always found people around me that would either try to break me or hate on me because of the fact that I had a I was naturally inclined to do things in a way that it was just like, wow, like no one had to school me. I just did it. And I like to believe that the hands of the Lord, what is wrong with me? I can't talk today. The hands, God's hand was on my life from day one. So definitely he gets the credit for me being as I was, intelligent and wise and able to do all things. And as I saw myself being good in one area, I always tried to enhance myself in the other. So for me, I believe that if God gives you a gift or you have a talent, you definitely have to incubate that thing and grow it. You know what I'm saying? Water it. And that's something that I can actually say that I've always done. And God has really highlighted a lot of things in my life. And every time He highlighted something, I went for it and I studied it and I learned it and I grew it and I enhanced it. And if there's a gift or a talent that I had that took more time or that I didn't touch or that I didn't enhance or grow or learn about, it's because there were people that really try to break me in that aspect and say, you doing that. And like I said, I found a lot of haters along the way, and it comes with the territory. And I always knew that, but it's really tough, you know, when you start learning who you are, and then you have to learn how to block out the haters, like Jesus said in the Beatitudes, blessed are those that are persecuted for righteousness' sake. So there was a lot of persecution. But of course, at my young and tender age, there's a lot of things I didn't understand about that aspect of life. And so it did hurt, I would cry and feel bad. But as I got older, it just kind of became one of those things where I was like, oh, it just comes with the territory. If you're really good at something that someone else can't do, they can possibly hate you. They'll hate on you because they can't do it and they wish they could. So, in embracing the things that you can do, blocking out the haters, then you realize that being good at so many things there's really no con. But there was con for me at one point when I felt like I had to choose. And so when I started getting on the social media scene and trying to figure out my niche, because that's what they tell you, you need to figure out your niche. What do you want to focus on and what do you want to do? I tried doing that. I tried to take one thing, one aspect of my talent or one aspect of my gift, and I said, I'm going to focus on this. And I remember I was praying and I was like, God, I'm doing too many things. And He was like, who told you that? Who told you that you're doing too many things? And I really had to think about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to be like the world. I'm trying to fall into this system that the world created where in terms of social media, that you have to be a certain way, you have to do things a certain way. And I'm not built like that. I've never been built in the way where I fell into the system. I've always been the one setting the trends, not following them. And I'm not going to start now. And I feel like when I prayed that prayer, God was like, why are you praying this prayer? I mean, I never told you that you're doing too much. Because literally, like, because I'm so multi gifted and multi talented, I have so many things that I love to do that the Lord has not allowed me to just put it down. He actually continues to tell me to pick my gifts up. And I wholeheartedly believe that there may probably be a season where He'll tell me, okay, you can put that down and let's focus on this. There are seasons though where I do focus on a specific thing, but for the most part, God has really been pushing me to put all my gifts to work. and not to allow anybody to tell me what I can and cannot do. And if there's something I shouldn't do, the Lord's like, I will tell you. This podcast that I have is one of many that I have. And so someone may look at me and be like, girl, you just all over the place. You need to figure out what you want to do. You can't have this podcast and have another one. Why? Because you can't, or because you think I shouldn't? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I had to get, and this is where it not worrying or not caring what people think comes into play. You can't care what people think. You have to do exactly what the Lord is telling you to do. And I am doing exactly, this podcast is going to be 1 years old next month. And I'm so happy. I can't wait. We're definitely going to have a special episode, maybe even a special guest. I don't know. I'll let the Lord lead me. But I am so proud that I started this journey a year ago, and I didn't quit. You know, I didn't let anything or anyone stop me. And so I have so many things that I do exceptionally well. And the Lord tells me, you're good at this. So put it to work. And every time you put to work the gift that God has given you, He adds to it. He adds to you. He expands you. Your capacity and your territory just grows from there, because He's like, wow, I gave her this gift and she put it to work. She didn't just put it down and say, you know what, I can't do this. This is too hard. There was a point in time in my life where I felt like I couldn't sing. Singing was like this mountain in front of me. My mother would always tell me, I remember I was 13 when I started singing, and 12, 13 years old. And my mother is the one person that always told me, girl, you can sing. You are gifted. You got this. And I remember I would just go and do performances. My mom would take me to different places to sing. I was nervous. I was like, Mom, I can't do this. And she's like, yes, you can, because you're gifted. I said, Mom, how do you know? She You got this. You were born with this gift. And I know, whereas most singers start off when they're like 8, 7, 3 years old, you hear the stories. I've been singing since I was 3. And me, I'm like, I don't have that story. And the Lord's like, why do you want to sound like everybody else? Your story is not like everybody else. Your gifting is not like everybody else. You don't sing like everybody else. According to the world, there's a standard of what sounds good. So God has really been teaching me how to embrace myself, how to embrace the gifts, how to embrace the gifts that He's given me, and just really put them to work for the kingdom of God. And that's what I've been doing. I've been taking every single gift that I have: fashion, choreography, dancing, singing, podcasting, writing books, you name it. I just do it all for the glory of the God, for the glory of God. Matthew 6:33 says, seek the kingdom and the righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. So in everything that I do, may God be glorified. And if that is truly what I seek, then it shouldn't matter what anyone has to say. I'm going to continue to do all the things that I love to do, that I'm truly gifted at, because everything that I'm gifted at, I really love doing it. And I felt like I had to put it down and choose one thing. And God was like, and if you're listening and you're like me and you're like, dang, I've never heard anybody say it like that. I want to tell you, if you are multi gifted or multi talented and you don't know what to choose and you're like, it's too hard, honey, do it all. If you have the time, the energy, and the discipline like I do, I have the time, I have the energy, I have the discipline, I have the consistency, I can do it. I can. And it's easy to be consistent and disciplined in something that you love to do. Yeah, you have your high and low seasons, but if you truly love it, you'll always come back. Consistency doesn't mean you walk a straight line all the way through. Consistency means you keep going even when it's tough. And when you're down, you get right back up and you do it again. That's what consistency truly means. So that's me, that's you. You can't choose. Maybe God doesn't want you to choose. Maybe God did it on purpose. He gave you all those gifts. Maybe He was showing off when He made you. He made you beautiful. He made you multi-gifted. He made you multi-talented. And He made you exceptionally good at everything you do. And you got all these haters looking at you like, who you think you are? You think you all that? Yeah, I think I'm all that. I am all that God has made me to be, fearfully and wonderfully made, multi gifted, multi talented, and beautiful as well. And I'm going to continue to do the very things that God has called me to do, regardless of what anyone has to say. And the only opinion that matters is God's opinion. And the day He tells me to stop, you better believe I'm going to stop. That's it, y'all. Peace.